The ANC owes the nation an apology for the recent unrest that engulfed the country. That's the view of ANC Veteran Mavuso Msimang, who's written a piece titled An Unauthorised ANC Apology to the Nation. Msimang's opinion piece comes after the looting and destruction of property earlier this month cost the country billions of rand. At the same time, about 150,000 jobs are on the line and over 300 lives have been lost. Msimang joins us now to unpack his views. Thank you very much, Mr. Msimang, for joining us this evening. So I want to start off, for those of our viewers who may not have read your article yet, why do you say the ANC is directly responsible for the looting and unrest in KZN and therefore owes the country an apology?
Thank you very much for the invitation and good evening to your viewers. The article essentially says the problems that happened in KZN and in Gauteng starting on the 8th of July were a result of internal ructions within the ANC. There were groups who said, there was a group rather which thought Jacob Zuma should not be arrested, and of course the ANC was not going to interfere with the law processes. But they insisted that if he was arrested, then there would be problems. It was conveyed as if there would be a mass uprising, etc., etc. Well, we know there was no uprising. What initiated the conflict, the mayhem actually, was the sabotage that was done on the trucks that were on the road. So this is the background to that. So I am saying, together with some of my friends, that the ANC owes the public, the nation, an apology because it is issues within the ANC that broke out and affected so adversely in such a costly manner members of the party.
You also accuse the ANC, of which you're a member, of creating the majority of the poverty in South Africa.
Well, I am saying the majority of the victims of our reckless actions have been very poor people. What this thing has done is to expose poverty. So I'm not saying that they created them in this sense, but in fact we did. The fact that there are more poor people now than there were in 1994 says something about the poor strategy that was adopted to bring about development. It's only in that sense that I am saying that these are poor people who were created on our watch.
You apologize on behalf of the ANC to the people of South Africa for a number of things, some of which I've already cited. One of them also for electing Jacob Zuma as president in the first place. That's a very big apology. One many feel is justified, but there are just as many, if not more, who would hang you for such a statement. Aren't you worried about making such bold statements against forces that still have a lot of power?
No, I'm a little bit of an old person now. I think people should not waste too much of their energy on me. But what I meant by saying that by electing Zuma in the first place is I'll really very quickly run you through history, which was in 2005, you had a person called Shabir Sheikh who was sentenced to 15 years in jail for bribing, for corrupting Zuma, giving him a bribe. He's served. Zuma was not in the dock, and he had always said that he would go in there, would take the opportunity and clear his name. But somebody goes to prison because they are accused of having corrupted Zuma. Then also in 2005, a woman who had to be given an alias, Kwezi, actually Fezekile Kuzwayo. And she gets this alias, by the way, because ANC people are attacking her in defense of Zuma. But anyway, very, very negative publicity is generated by that case. Well, she said she was raped. The court found that she wasn't, but that the Congress was consensual. But the issue here is that ethically, you've got a daughter of a person with whom you served in prison, whom you met when she was 10 years of age. She calls you This is a person who is emotionally disturbed and requests to talk to you. And she comes and you blame her for wearing a kind of cloth that incited you to want to sleep with her. This is a person who is then taunted by members of the Women's League, by Youth League people and others. And they are all almost branding her as a witch. Jacob Zuma sleeps with her. He's aware of the fact that she's HIV positive, and he ends up just making a very embarrassing thing. Zapiro gets a field day, and he creates that showerhead, which has really become the telltale symbol of our president. I'm saying, against this background, we still elected a person who had not cleared his name, who had behaved in that manner. This poor woman had to go to exile a second time. The delegates in 2007 are totally unfazed by all of these things, and they elect this man to be their leader. Where was our moral compass? Where was it? I'm not talking the man, not tackling the man. I'm just saying, against that kind of background, what type of delegate still thinks the person should not wait until such time that the name is clear? Thank you. That's what I meant.
You also apologize for allowing groups like the MKMVA to make utterances on behalf of the ANC unchecked. As an ANC veteran, how do you feel about the utterances made by the likes of Carl Niehaus over the past month, claiming to represent ANC veterans?
To start off with, the ANC should never have allowed those people called the MKMVA to go about wearing military uniforms. This country had a number of formations, in conflicts up to the point with each other, up to the point of 1994 when freedom was achieved. If all of them, the SADF, South African Defence Force, decided to don their regalia, their uniforms, if the Battalion 32 decided to do the same thing and walk the streets, how pleasant would that be? Why should these people, because they are MK, be allowed to, militarize politics? It was just so wrong, and it was allowed to go on. We did say we think it's wrong to do this kind of thing. I think to some extent there may even be a law that prohibits that, but maybe when they talk about insignias, they're talking about medals and so on. So the ANC allows this person at the time, so they proclaim themselves to be fully behind Zuma. Their mission, their reason for existence was to assist veterans, former MK cadres, who had come upon difficult times, were very poor. It's actually extremely embarrassing that veterans, those who are genuine veterans, cannot even sit and talk as I'm talking now. They are struggling to exist. So that MKMVA should have been addressing itself to those needs. Instead, it goes into factional politics. Zuma leaves office, and the ANC leadership, who should not have allowed it even during Zuma's time, allows it after a new administration of President Ramaphosa. So they feel completely at liberty to stop traffic while they demonstrate, to do all sorts of things really that have nothing to do with their business. I'm saying for allowing that, we should apologize. We are to blame. We have wronged the nation.
My last question. You speak at the end of your article, and I'm going to advise our viewers all to go and read it. It's very interesting reading. At the end of the article, you talk in fishing metaphors of casting nets in fresher parliamentary waters. What are you hinting at, and what is the way forward for President Ramaphosa?
I am saying we've been struggling very much with corruption. It is evidenced in senior people from the National Executive Committee being arrested or being accused and implicated very strongly in corruption. One is on suspension now. We had the issue of the PPEs, etc., etc. And these are all people coming from a very senior level. The NEC, Ace Mahashule, with all the problems that he has, which have to do with alleged corruption. My proposal is that the president should not limit himself when forming a cabinet, which I think he should form a new one now. He should not limit himself to members of the National Executive Committee. I think the Constitution allows him to appoint to cabinet a member of parliament. I guess he would take from the ANC. He must go to parliament. There's really very many refreshingly good people. I listened to one this morning. I didn't even know him talking about this Mkwebana thing. The pool must be widened and get the best people. I think all along the fear has been that the practice, I would say, undeclared, is that you take some people from a faction that's essentially subscribes to corruption, and you mix them with good people, and you hope to achieve unity. No, you cannot achieve unity with thieves. Get good people, and then you're in a position to start addressing the problems of the country.
Before I let you go, I'm going to prod you a little bit further. You had said that you'd been approached by some fishermen to give the president a message. Had you been approached by anyone in specific who showed interest in joining a new cabinet?
No, it was just extending the metaphor that you should fish for people in parliamentary waters, which is the other place. No, there are no groups of people who actually asked us to convey that message to the president.
Well, we do thank you for giving us your message, for speaking to us this evening. That was ANC Veteran Mavuso Msimang giving us his take. His article is available in the Daily Maverick. Do go and read it. Very interesting reading there.